Hey there, Cozy Babe, and welcome into this reading. I don't know what we're titling yet. You will obviously already know the title. We'll see what we actually get to channeling, to actualizing, and I'm excited to read. So first and foremost, I do need to say a special thank you to today's sponsor, which is Tarot Stack. If you don't know what Tarot Stack is an online tarot deck distributor that gets independent artist-made decks into your hands. So I love Tarot Stack. Before I ever was partnered with them or sponsored with them, I was purchasing decks from there, and every deck that you see in today's reading is going to be from there. So thank you so much, Tarot Stack. They have some of the most incredible decks. Everything is always really well made. Like the cardstock is always really good. The imagery is something you're not going to find anywhere else. Literally, some of the decks I own actually have certificates of authenticity because they are rare. So you also find like rare decks there. And there, I believe, is truly something for everyone. I feel like I picked some array of decks today to show you as well. So thank you so much, Tarot Stack. I will be linking all of the decks that we used today down below in the order they appear, as well as a link for Tarot Stack's website. So I would love if you would check them out. And thank you so much for listening to my ad read. I really appreciate it. It helps Tarot Stack. It also helps me to continue to create and make free content on this platform. So in any case, let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start with this deck here, which is an oracle deck. I just kind of want to see what's the vibe. What is even the tone of this reading? Where are we starting? Get a vibe check. Interesting. Okay. So you got the astrological sign of Leo as your first card. And I feel like just like vibe check is that you are working currently through your confidence. I feel like Leo, in terms of astrology, you could even be a Leo sun, moon, rising, but it's not necessary for this reading to apply. I also want to say that in this reading, you might find that there's just like one portion of it that applies to you, but it might be also the entire reading. But I think you're going to get something out of it regardless. So with Leo coming out for us, I do feel like this is about your confidence and your self-image. This has something to do with like the way you adorn yourself, the way you appear on the outside. But I feel like you're chasing the wrong things. Like you've been chasing the outside focused appearance when it's really internal. The internal self is needing a little bit more restructuring. I'm going to pull one more of these cards before we move on to another deck for now. But let's just keep feeling it out and see what's going on with this. Okay, then we also have the card of Fate. So the card of Fate, this to me is also Fate. Okay, the interesting thing about Fate is that I feel like a lot of us have a very interesting relationship with it. On one hand, we want to control everything. We want to manifest everything. We want to bring everything into our life that we want. But when it comes to Fate, there is always an extra thread. So I think one of my favorite ways that this is described is actually through Threads of Fate, which is like another tarot deck made by another publisher, that they talk about how we are the weaver of our own tapestry, and we get to decide which threads we want to weave into that tapestry and which ones we want to cut. But there are some threads that are weaved in by the hands of fate that we cannot always sever or cut those. It's just part of our tapestry. And so I do feel like maybe you haven't been making enough room for this in your life. It's like you've been used to controlling the external, but fate actually has bigger plans for you that you haven't been letting come in because you've been so focused on how you can control the outcome. So let's dive deeper. Okay, we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. Strength reversed. So that's Leo's card also coming out reversed. The Page of Cups upright. That's interesting. Okay, I see what's happening here. And the Moon. You're in your feelings, bestie. All right. I'll pull some more cards from that deck in a moment, but with the Page of Pentacles, let's start there. Page of Pentacles reverse tells me, again, I think this is really a lot about control, because when I see the Page of Pentacles typically in an upright position, this is somebody that kind of has a plan coming together that they're ready to start executing on. But when I see this in its reversed state like this to me says that we don't really have a plan. We're not really pulling it together. We're just kind of like, well, I could do this. I could have that. I could, like, there is no organization. You are living in a state of chaos. Then when I see strength reversed, you're afraid to make a commitment. You're afraid to ask something of yourself. You're afraid to discipline yourself. You are afraid to do something that might be good for you, because in the past you've tried to stay committed to things and maybe for one reason or another it didn't work out. And I want to say this reeks of self-sabotage, okay? And with self-sabotage, I want to give you a new perspective on that, because when we think about self-sabotage, I think a lot of us get into this victim blaming game with ourselves where we say, oh, but if I had just been strong enough, if I had just had the willpower, if I had just powered through, it would have worked out. When it comes to willpower, when it comes to self-sabotage, I need you to give the reframe to yourself that you're just meeting your needs. When you self-sabotage, you're meeting your needs. Let me give you an example from my own life, because I think it is one of the best ways that I'm able to teach, is that for the entire month, okay, y'all know if you follow me around the web, I'm on a weight loss journey to lose 87 pounds. I've been very open about it. But in the month of January, I was extremely dedicated to my plan. I was following my plan and not my mood, like I tell y'all to do all the time. And I lost a significant amount of weight that month. And I was just so focused. And then February rolled around and I was kind of like hot and cold. I was half in and half out. March has now rolled around and I feel like so many of the things I was practicing in January, I'm not practicing anymore. And I just recently, as of the last couple of days, sat down with myself and I was like, how did we get here? How did we start late night snacking, overindulging, not hitting our protein macro, not working out? How did we get back here, bestie? What is going on? And what happened was, there was one day in February where I had a very bad day. Emotionally, I also would say, you'll hear it in the podcast coming up this week, I have been having a very emotional time of it, going through my own crisis of faith. And going through this experience, I am somebody that I will self-soothe with food. I will find a snack, I will find a meal, I will find something that is comforting to me when I'm hurting. And I've been this way my entire life. This is like something I developed really early in my life, that I couldn't turn to my parents or a guardian or somebody else for help. I had to rely on my own things. And what we had in my house was food. Okay. I'm the youngest of 7 kids. My dad shopped at Costco. Like, we had snacks and we had food, and that's what I would use to soothe myself. And so it's not that I'm doing something bad or wrong. It's that this is how I have soothed myself from a very early age. And those habits come back up when the uncomfortable feelings come back up. It is just me trying to self-soothe and meet my own needs. Instead, once I recognize that with the power of awareness, I now have to choose, what am I going to do instead? Now that I know, and I know that this habit, this self-sabotaging habit, does not serve me, what am I going to do instead? And instead, I call friends. I spend time playing video games with my spouse. I decide to make a comforting meal, but I limit myself, or I turn it into a healthier meal. by making it a little bit more nutrient dense. So it's not that you're self-sabotaging and that you're a rotten, terrible, no good person with no willpower. It's that there is something that you have been doing that meets a need for you. And you need to dissect what that need is and how can you meet it in a new way that would actually serve you. Now, with the Page of Cups and the moon coming out, I do feel like you're also maybe going through a bit of an emotional time. You want to believe in the goodness of the world. You want to believe that fate plays a positive hand in your life right now. I can see that with the Page of Cups. This is somebody that believes in the glass being filled, life through rose-colored glasses, but I do feel like you're being a little bit emotionally challenged with the moon, and not everything is as it seems right now. And I honestly think, especially if you've been going through a dark time or like an unpleasant time in your life, everything is not what it seems. Everything is not what it seems. There is more that needs to come to light, and you need to be a little bit more patient. Now, we also have the Nine of Pentacles. I love seeing this. The Eight of Swords reversed. I also love this. And the Lovers card upright. Okay, we'll get to the Lovers in a second, but the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords, so the Nine of Pentacles is upright, Eight of Swords reversed. I think this is a really great progression for where you're headed next, because the Nine of Pentacles is somebody thriving in their own lane, taking care of themselves, feeling good. The Eight of Swords reversed, this is about overcoming past mindsets and mentalities that have kept you stuck. This is letting go of this mentality, letting go of victimhood, letting go of literally the ideologies that have maybe even always held you back. So I really feel like you're stepping into an era of your life that is going to be a lot more harmonious, but you had to go through what you're currently going through to get to this. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been as sweet. I also see the Lovers coming out for you and the Queen of Wands reversed. So the Queen of Wands reversed, I do feel like this with the Lovers is a bit of an amplification, because the Lovers is being connected to somebody else, right? It's either like meeting our shadow self or recognizing where we haven't been confident and like embracing that part of ourselves. The Lovers can also be embracing another person, finding somebody that really like is the sun to your moon or the moon to your sun. Like you find somebody that really like counterbalances you. But when I see the Queen of Wands reversed, the Queen of Wands is also another card that deals with confidence. So when I see this coming in a reversed, I feel like it comes back to confidence. And I am going to recommend to you, if you're somebody that struggles with confidence, I just put out 1 or 2 episodes of my podcast within the last month that cover confidence. I did an episode that's the ultimate guide to confidence. And then I want to say there's a second episode that recently went out that was kind of in a similar vein. That was like, how to basically do what you got to do even when you have low energy. I also have the Follow Your Plan and Not Your Mood episode, which I think would be helpful. So if you feel like you really need someone to like give you a pep talk, start with the Confidence Guide episode. I'll link it down below as well, the ones that I'm talking about. But if you really like what you're hearing here, I feel like you will get a lot out of those episodes. And they're not just YouTube. You can get it on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Podcast is called the Cozy Babes Club. But in any case, this to me says that like you're still struggling with your confidence. And to me, this almost looks like a filling of a void of some kind. Like instead of filling yourself up with confidence and being with yourself, some of y'all are trying to fill it with other people, and that's what's hindering you. But some of y'all also are working on this by learning about those parts of yourself that don't feel as confident. Okay. Then we have the Page of Swords reversed and the Knight of Cups reversed. So Page of Swords reversed, you're really in your head with this one, bestie. Knight of Cups reversed, I feel like you think that everything is very cut and dry right now, and like you're thinking way too black and white. You're thinking way too black and white about everything. You are stressing yourself out. I don't like that for you. Let's shuffle the rest of this deck real quick. What can we do about that? What would be the pathway forward? I would like 4 cards for the pathway forward of working through this. Okay, I'm just going to set it down and draw. 6 of Wands. Okay. The Sun. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And the 2 of Pentacles. All of these cards came out upright. Let's start with the Sun and the 6 of Wands. So I hate to say this because I know how it can come across, and I don't take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? But when I see the Sun card coming out as something you need to move through, you do need to focus on positivity, and not in a spiritual bypassing kind of way. In a, maybe the girls were right. Me and my best friend talk about this all the time. We say, maybe the girls were actually right. Maybe the girls that told us to drink water, work out, get X amount of sunshine every day, wear our sunscreen, and call our friend on the phone, maybe they were right. Maybe they were right and we should have listened to them, and we feel happier when we establish those routines. But the Sun is also about focusing on the good things in your life, focusing on the things that bring you joy and not the things that don't. And the 6 of Wands comes out to say that you are about to be victorious in some way. Something is about to shift in your life, and I can tell because the Wheel of Fortune is also here. Because the Wheel of Fortune, it is the wheel of karma. When you are down, the one thing that we know is you have to come up. When you are up, we know that eventually you will come down. That is life. This is the same with the cycles and the seasons and the natural progression of the earth, right? We have our summer months, but we have our winter months. That's normal. It's a part of life. And so many of us are conditioned to think that we need to be in our spring or in our summer era at all times. And it's just not realistic. So the Wheel of Fortune to me says that if you've been down in the dumps, you're about to have your come up moment. And it's not a moment. I feel like this is going to be quite a lengthy chapter. But the 6 of Wands also tells me that where you have been lost, where you have felt like a loser, where you have felt like things have not worked, things are about to start working. You're about to get some kind of a lucky break. And the 2 of Pentacles says that you're coming at it from a place of having more balance. Before, you didn't have the balance or the capacity to hold it. So when good things would happen, you would sabotage them because you didn't understand what it would take to hold the goodness that was trying to find its way into your life. Now I want to take a look at timing for this reading to see when this is going to be happening. I also want to say, actually, before we move on, the Wheel of Fortune is also a card of financial windfall. So some of y'all also might be getting blessed financially very soon. But let's go ahead and look at some timing from the Say When deck. See what the timing of this looks like. $12. Okay. May, and I'm going to pull one more, 28. Okay, so for some of y'all, this will not happen until May. Okay, May 12th or 28th. For some of y'all, I would also say it could be as soon as March 12th. It could be as soon as March 28th, or even April 28th, April 12th. But let me actually take a peek at these. May is Taurus season, so also during a Taurus transit, I would say. Luxury, enjoys getting pampered, ambitious, focused, and resilient. 12 says growth, inspiration, positive attitude, eliminate negativity, focus on your life purpose. I love that. And then 28, achievements, contradictions, new cycle, divine support, and guidance during a transition period. So I feel like these are all very right on. You could also be a Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, and that might be why May is coming out. Maybe that's your birth month. But I would say by May, things are going to be looking significantly up for you if they have been down. There is a big change being ushered in, and you just can't see it yet, but it will be coming. And then lastly, I also wanted to pull a card from what is this deck called? It is the Your wise animal body. I love this deck and I feel like we don't use it enough. So I want to pull some cards from it for you. Just to kind of see how we can feel into our body, because we're not just floating heads, y'all. Okay, we have meditate. I love it. Meditate's always a good one. And we have attend with, it says love. Attend with love. So, okay, and then we got vocalize at the bottom of the deck. I'm like, no, that was it. Just the two. I was not feeling it. Okay, so with meditates, I always say when I see meditation that it doesn't have to be meditation as you know it. Like, there is this app that I love using that I always talk about called Activations. It used to be called Superhuman. It is the app for people that don't like to meditate. I use it all the time. It works extremely well. I would encourage you to try it. You can get like a 2-week free trial if it's one that you want to just try. It's really great. I love it a lot. I feel like they should pay me money and sponsor me for how much I talk about them because I use them myself. But meditation on just where, like, I wouldn't even say meditating on something specific. I feel like there is a dying art of meditation in that so many of us use meditation to try to control outcomes now, when what happened to just meditating to notice your thoughts? What happened to meditating just to get in touch with yourself? I feel like that's what you're being called to ask yourself about, and like just be with yourself. I think in a world that is so fast paced, so on social media, so connected and yet so isolated, we have lost this ability to just be with the self and to be bored even. So I would say take that, like maybe even journal some on that. But also attend love. I'm not sure what this card is about, so I'm actually going to pull the book on this one because I've just never seen it before. And I want to... Okay, so the attend cards have multiple different ones. But this one, attend love. The tears are a good sign that the message is getting through and helping to dispel some tension that was hanging around. If no tears show up, that's great too. Give yourself all the love you can, breathing into the center of your chest and filling the space with kindness, compassion, and respect. There is a type of meditation called metta that is extremely helpful for cultivating love for the self and other, and for all living beings. Give it a Google and try it out. Mantra. It is okay that love is tricky, as it is this way for everyone. My role and my goal is to love myself unconditionally so that I may love others as such. Oh, my bad. This one had more information. I needed to go back a page. Let me read more. The fourth chakra, also known as the heart of Anahata, is located in the center of the chest. It governs love of the self, the love of other, compassion, universal love, and how we experience relationships, not just those of a romantic nature, but all of our relationships. When balanced, we feel connected, loved, unified, affectionate. Love flows to us and from us freely. When imbalanced, we may feel depressed, unloved, isolated, alienated, separate. We may begin to experience blockages that feel like chest congestion, pain, or an issue in the upper thoracic spine. How is your heart feeling? How is your relationship to love? Do you feel separate from others and isolated? At what times? In what situations? Do you feel totally loved and cherished? What splinters that feeling? Sit or lay down in a comfortable position. Take a deep breath. Okay, so this is like giving an exercise, but I kind of already talked to you a little bit about that. So these, to me, are the two things that the body is asking for. Meditation came through extremely strong. I would say really heed that advice of not just meditating to actualize your future, but meditating just to love who and where you are right now. Let yourself just see how you think and process right now, right? And that is the reading I have for y'all. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this new format that I'm trying out. And let me know how you feel about it down below. And if you would like more from me, of course, I have my courses available on KloeTaylor.com. Those will actually be going up soon because I met with someone that like helped me kind of go through it, and I have been severely undervaluing myself apparently. So my website is actually going to be going through like a big facelift process. So get it where it is while you can. That change will be going through with probably within the next few weeks. So get it at the price that it is now. So significantly cheaper. And if you want to follow me around the web, I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere. I also have my Patreon if you would like exclusive tarot and astrology reports. I just put all of the March content out, and we have some serious astrology going on in March. So definitely check that out over there. I also put a new vlog out for you on the Patreon for last month. It went out kind of right at the end of February. So definitely check it out if you would like more content from me and would like to support me in other ways than just being here. And if you listen to this entire reading and video, leave me the croissant emoji because croissants are, mwah. I was definitely a Paris girl as a kid. You know, there was your New York girls, your London girls, and your Paris girls. I was a Paris girl through and through. So leave me a little croissant emoji if you listen to this entire thing. And do not forget to follow your plan and not your mood. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.